gentlemen. I'll just tweet him directly. Let's see here.
For everybody new joining in here, this is Big. Keem and Fight Lounge have gotten us an interview with Mams Taylor, KSI's manager, who's going to give us the inside scoop on everything going on in the world of KSI, and also sharing his thoughts on what happened with show star Alex Wassabi, Austin McBroom, which Mams likes to call Mushroom Top, and we'll see what else he has to say.
Yeah, like I was saying before, the other one went down. I want everyone to go to the top and share the actual the Twitter Spaces link. The share button is all the way at the top. You'll see it right next to leave. Don't hit leave. Hit the share one. Post it out. There's a lot to talk about. Let me run this over again because I know we record these things, and I know a lot of you were in the last one that had technical difficulties, so I'm just repeating myself. But there's a lot to talk about. We have Austin McBroom versus Gib, the money that was promised to Austin, the battle between Austin and Mams, KSI's manager. They've been going back and forth. We just covered it on Drama Alert today. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. We also want to get Mams' thoughts on KSI versus Alex Wassabi. Alex Wassabi just made some LGBTQ comments about JJ. We want to get the reaction on the Showstar event. Mams and KSI have both been vocal on social media about that event and how they want to do something much better. So that's what we're going to be tackling. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, KSI's manager, Mams.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for putting up our technical difficulties, man. Again, I apologize. I really appreciate you taking time out your time to do this.
No problem. I thought Mushroom gained controls.
So how did Austin McBroom start getting this nickname Mushrooms? Because I just started seeing this.
I don't know. It just rolls off the tongue. Austin Mushroom,
Now, Austin came out and said that that KSI JJ was going to be fighting Alex Wassabi in August. I tweeted that out, and you responded to my tweet, and you said, "Why? Because Mushroom said so." So, is it not in August? Like, what's going on?
I said it in a much calmer voice. You just couldn't hear me. But no, we're definitely putting on an event in the summer. KSI will be fighting. And if everything goes plans, he'll be fighting 2 times in the next 12 months.
I'm looking at the calendar here, and it looks like August is actually in summer. So,
yeah, I mean, nothing is. You guys will. I'm not going to give anything away there, but we'll see. We're going to put on an amazing card. I would love to have Austin on the card. Would love to have Wassabi on the card and a whole host of other influencers, a couple of musicians, with a lot of really cool, interesting things. Basically, our fight organization, our fight promotion is going to be the elite premier place for influencers, celebrities from all walks of life to duke it out and box. And, it's going to be a whole lot more professional. The presentation, the event. We're not going to have mud wrestling matches and people slapping each other in the face in the middle of a boxing match with a 20-minute concert. It's not going to be any of that.
No racist rap battles? What the hell?
No, none of that.
Headbutts? No headbutts?
And maybe one headbutt. I'll headbutt that guy for headbutting everyone. It was rude.
Ma'am, about the event, I have to ask this one question because you're the money man. You're the manager. You're supposed to go out there and get the bag for your clients, right?
Yeah.
KSI said publicly on the Sidemen podcast that he is not going to make people fight for this fight versus him and Alex Wassabi, that he'll put it out for free. Is that really going to happen? Can you operate? Can you get enough sponsors to make this actually work?
I mean, you guys know that we're partners with the Wassermans, and we have another partner that we can't announce just yet, but it's going to be broadcast on the most professional level, at the highest standard. And yeah, KSI loves his fans. He wants us to give this one away for free.
And
so,
know what? I think that's good because some fans like, KSI versus Wasabi isn't that appealing. So fans won't have to pay for this fight.
Oh, wait,
But fans,
I
well,
want to
hold on,
chime in
hold on.
there. Although I love
Wait a minute.
that.
Okay,
Sorry,
well, one thing. So
guys,
you know,
it's been
so your strategy.
YouTube boxing has been so damaged by
Mm-hmm.
all these other companies and people fly by night thinking, hey, let's put on this circus and it's going to be an ongoing thing, and then they find out soon enough they can't put on a second event because they suck. They don't. It takes experience. It takes, look, when KSI doesn't know something, he has someone who does. When I don't know something, we reach out to the best person that does. So we team up the right way, and we're going to put on a really, really next level event because of our partnerships, the experience that's there, and because of the mess ups and the mishaps that have happened from all these other events. We feel that the fans deserve a free card to bring them back in, to let them see actually this can be executed at a top level of entertainment.
Showstar tried to do the same thing. They tried to get the best of the best. I mean, that's why they were trying to hire me and Fuzi. Unfortunately, they had no money. We're not working for free.
Oh, well, we're going to pay our fighters. Make no mistake. Everyone's going to get paid fairly. It's just that the fans are not going to have to pay for this.
Yeah, and 100% respectable. And me and Kim were talking the other day how the reason these events haven't been going well is because they've been done from, like you said, third parties who just saw it as a cash grab, so they end up throwing circuses. So I'm really excited for yours. One thing I wanted to chime in and say, and this is just from my opinion, I want to dead all the talks of people saying they're not interested for KSI to fight Alex Wasabi, because they know damn well they will be front row in front of their TV to watch that fight. And at the end of the day, in the sport of boxing, you never know what's going to happen when two men enter the ring. I went into KSI versus Logan Paul full out saying on DAZN that Logan Paul was going to win and KSI stood no chance, and I was wrong. I also told everybody that Taylor Holder will annihilate Gibb, and I was wrong. So I, for one, am very excited to see a man as confident as Alex take on a man as confident as KSI, and I think it would be a thrilling fight if we ever got to see that.
Well, I have a little bit of a different opinion on that, Fuzi, because first of all, KSI is going to destroy Alex. Like Alex cannot beat KSI.
They
That's
said
not
that about Deji.
But okay, but Deji is not KSI. Like like it's just so insane. These are two different beasts. Like it's not.
But that's what makes this so good, though, because you have people like me who are excited. Like, I would bet you money just for the sake that I would have fun betting you. You make a lot more money than me, so we'd have to lower the price of how much we bet. But I would bet you just for the sake of how fun it would be to bet on Alex Wasabi to beat KSI as the underdog. That's awesome.
How much are we betting? Because JJ is winning this. He's walking away with a win.
Well,
dude, if JJ loses to Alex Wasabi, he said it himself because he knows it's true. I will literally just quit. I will quit the internet, basically.
I mean, look, whatever fight takes place in that main event, it's going to be entertaining as hell.
And see, my point was the business plan. Okay, the first event is free. It's KSI versus Wasabi. All right, that's a good fight.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Okay, well, that's rumored. The second event, let's just say, big what if KSI beats Wasabi and if McBroom beats Gibb, then the second fight, that's what you put on pay-per-view. I think that could be potential where you guys are heading towards.
With the fighters being hypothetical, because of course we don't know who's fighting who.
Yeah.
And look at the whole point of all this, right? Is so someday, before I actually retire and before, TikTok fully takes over YouTube, right? Before that happens, we need to see Jake Paul versus KSI. And is this the road to Jake, Mams?
I believe that that's a legacy fight for JJ. That I think it's an important fight for him. He knows in his heart he's going to win. We both feel that way. I know people have their opinions, and I think, look, I talk a lot of shit, and I like the odd troll, but at the end of the day, the kid's done really well to get to where he's gotten. and he's definitely, his team have been really smart about who he fights because they're credible at the UFC guys and stuff like that, but they've picked them well, knowing that, they're at the tail end of their career and they're not what they once were. Ben Askren, for example, we've heard all the chatter, but he still stepped up and really, really did well. But at the same time, JJ has this driving force. I've never seen anything like it's literally I have the same thing, but I'm inspired by his because it's unstoppable. And when he puts his mind to something, he really just, he can't lose.
Yeah.
And that's to answer your question, that's definitely a very strong possibility of that fight happening, I think,
Mams, I
in the
got a
future.
follow up. I got a follow up question on something you just said about Jake's team being really smart and picking their opponents, because I want to know your thoughts on what would have happened between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, because in that instance, it wasn't a washed up UFC fighter. It was an actual boxer. What would have happened? What would have been the outcome?
Honestly, I still think Jake might have taken him because Tommy has not impressed me. He's sluggish. Where he should be strong in certain areas, he's not. He doesn't have enough strength there to sort of. I don't know if he would have stepped up to the moment. Maybe sparring Jake, three times out of five, he might win, but obviously he shit himself and he couldn't step up to the stage. So, I think that would have been a smart fight for Jake too. I think he would have won.
I agree, and I appreciate that honesty coming from you, Mams, because you're not just out there biasly saying, "Oh, Jake's going to lose if he fights a boxer." I personally don't think Tommy has the experience yet or the mental fortitude to be able to take on a character like Jake, and I think we saw that leading up to the fight in their press conferences when Tommy needed his dad and his brother to speak for him, and Jake is laying in a pool with a cigar in his mouth, chatting shit.
He's had the limelight for a long time, and he knows how to handle it, and he's done really well and acclimated to the boxing environment. Look, I've been going MMA and boxing for 20 plus years, and I've seen people at the gym who demolish champions, UFC guys, just play with them, then they get into the cage or the ring and they get their asses whooped. They can't step up. They're amazing at sparring. They're amazing gym fighters, but the limelight just gets to them, and then you got guys who lose in sparring all the time, and then they go under the lights and they beat the crap out of everyone.
We got to talk about Alex Wasabi's recent comments. Alex Wasabi basically he came out and he said that JJ's a bully, and he's like, look, there's been a pattern in my life with these bullies. I got bullied in high school. There was these two bullies, right? And later they came out as gay, kind of insinuating that JJ is part of the LGBTQ. Thoughts?
Well, look, I'm not touching this. We're too woke, so I don't want. I don't. Whatever I say, I'm gonna say something wrong. So I'm just gonna shut my mouth. But I'll just tell you that JJ is very heterosexual.
Fair play.
Such a
Fair
letdown.
play.
Okay.
I have a question for KSI's next fight. Is it going to be a pro fight?
Yeah.
Okay, so in pro fights, you have to be in a weight class. So I talked to Al Sabi. He was in the tour space last night. He said his max is like 175. Would KSI be able to come down to Al Sabi's weight class?
I mean, if they were to fight, we would figure it out, I'm sure. But
I'm sure they would be able to, because if I'm not mistaken, Logan Paul KSI, I don't know if it was one or two, but did KSI not go down to 180?
For the second time they fought was pro fight, and that was a cruiserweight. I believe KSI was like 194, and Logan was like 198.
Yeah.
Or I'm thinking of Joe Weller. One of them, he came down pretty low.
Yeah, he was really lean for.
You're thinking about Joe Weller. You're thinking about Joe Weller.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, if that fight were to happen, we would obviously figure it out. I don't want.
We got to talk about Mushroom.
Mushroom.
Austin McBroom, because you two have been battling back and forth.
No, I think he just takes life very seriously sometimes, and like because of that, I think everyone should just give him a mushroom emoji, whatever he comments, whatever he says anywhere.
To the people that might not
Oh
been
man.
following the tweets and the social media posts back and forth, could you give us kind of a rundown of what's been going on between the two of you on social media and behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, I was speaking to his dad about a potential KSI fight initially. That's where it started. And I was like, this guy, very nice guy, very, very sweet guy. I got nothing bad to say about the dad, but the where they saw themselves was pretty delusional in terms of, oh yeah, Austin's going to get this and we should do that and then blah blah blah. And I think he thought of Austin, as you do, as your kid, as like an equivalent to where KSI's draw is on this type of thing. And it's just business at the end of the day. He wasn't sensible about it, so I said, all right, well, this isn't going to work. They seem pretty stubborn, so let me see about the Gib fight. So I reached out to Liam, who manages Gib, and spoke to Gib as well. And he's super, super up for it. He's like, I'd love to fight Austin. And then spoke to Austin's people. And again, they were just asking for way too much. And I think that partly some of the organizations have spoiled some of the fighters and overpaid. But they,
Yeah.
look, they all learn their lessons. They're screwing it up for themselves and for everyone else because everyone suddenly thinks, "Hey, give me 5 million, I'm boxing." It doesn't work like that. And to have a business long term, you want it to be profitable. You want it to be amazing for the fans first and foremost, and for the brand to keep growing long term. But ultimately, you also want, you want to make money for your hard work.
Well, at the end of the day, ma'am, so we have to look at the numbers. It's a numbers game, right? And so you're
Mhm.
looking at, Social Gloves, and it was just publicly announced that they settled out of court for $3 million. The event made $3 million. So if Austin McBroom is asking for $2 million, then what? KSI is only going to get $1 million? Like what?
And
Like we
and
have to go off the numbers of your last fight,
and
Austin.
Keem, it's
He
important to
wasn't
note
asking for
that
2 million, by the way. He was asking for way more than that for KSI, but he was asking for a, he wanted 3 million for the Gib fight,
That's
plus plus
insane. That's
plus other
literally
stuff.
how much the Social Gloves event, the entire event made. That's
Well,
correct,
insane.
and it's important to note, and the Social Gloves event is what kind of ruined the pricing in these influencers' head, which
Yeah.
was Austin's event. So that's what had Bryce Hall walking around saying I'm a $5 million fighter, and everybody thinking they're millionaires off of boxing. When at the end of the day, nobody got paid.
yeah, it wasn't just Social Gloves, but we can leave it at that if you want.
I mean, put it this way. On my previous tour spaces, I told people when Tommy Fury fought Anthony Taylor, his guarantee was only 15,000. That was his guarantee, and that he made more that with sponsors. But that was it, and people were surprised. I'm like, yeah, that's how pricing is. Like the main event, they eat the most. Co-main event, okay, they get what's rest, and then the undercard don't get as much, and they were just surprised. Like, yeah, these are the social gloves as we see was they, Austin literally could not fulfill all his promises. It was literally impossible.
Maybe his intentions were good. I really don't believe in my heart of hearts that Austin was like, hey, let's screw everyone over. I don't think that happened at all. Obviously,
I don't either.
no. So look, everyone has good traits and bad traits. I don't hate the kid or anything like that, but you can see he gets when someone calls me a nickname I don't like, if I react to it, I'm gonna get called it more and more. And that's kind of how I feel like his personality is. He just needs to chill, and he needs to also come down to earth and say, hey, fuck it, I want to fight. um let me take some decent money and win, and then get the big bag against the big boy.
There's a story that people like kind of forget about, but Austin McBroom and Jake Paul, they've been friends. But when the two of them were talking about potentially boxing each other, it got real ugly. It got so ugly to the point where they were like slashing each other's tires over on the BFF podcast because they ended up both in the same spot at the same time. That was all real. That was all 100% real. And to this day, I still want to see that Jake Paul versus Austin McBroom. And as much as we're talking about this is the path for KSI to get in the ring with Jake Paul, from Austin's side, I believe this is Austin's path for him to also get in the ring with Jake Paul.
It's kind of like a winner stays on type thing, you know. At the end of the day, people want to see the winners continue winning and continue fighting, and that's just the name of the game in all combat sports anyway. It's always been that way. So I think you know, let me tell you guys a story. When I started with KSI, it was just a few months before the second Logan fight, and I said, all right, we're going to make a 6 song, and this is going to elevate, this is going to springboard your music career into the next level. Got Rick Ross, Lil Baby, SX, um, did that whole thing down like that. And I remember the label saying to us, we're doing the music video the day after the fight. How the hell, what if he loses? What's your plan B? And me and JJ looked at each other and we said, we don't have a plan B. We're fucking gonna, he was like, I'm gonna fucking win this thing, you know. And that's the same mentality he has. There's no way he's going to lose to Austin or Jake or any of the opponents in this space,
That's
you know.
phenomenal. And the reason, I love hearing that is because I'll never forget the atmosphere in, Staples at Logan KSI 2 and watching KSI come out. His demeanor coming out was something I have never seen before. And it literally represents everything you're saying right now. The man knew what he was there to do, and he knew he wasn't leaving unless the mission was accomplished. So it was
Fusi,
awesome to see.
it's incredible focus. And look, people say I see people criticize and say, look, you're up his ass. At the end of the day, I ride hard for all of my clients. I love them all. Otherwise, I'm in a position where I wouldn't take on someone I don't like. So the guy is very humble and very, very likable. But when he's at, in business mode, in boxing mode, in music mode, he the improvement he made in music alone, he just became a dedicated student to it. He would listen, he would know songs that I've never even heard of, and spend hours every day writing and just getting to understand music and how to make songs and things like that. And he puts that same dedication to whatever he takes on. So it's the same thing with boxing. I won't say too much, but when you see him back in the ring, you won't be seeing the same KSI that you've seen before.
Look, I knew that JJ was going to beat Logan Paul, but what I didn't know is that Logan Paul was going to be patient zero for COVID. Remember, he did sneeze 3 times that night. Look, I got to talk about this Showstar event, Mams, and I got to get your opinion on it because there's a lot to talk about. Some of the stuff that went wrong. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the event. But my main question for this is what is going on with the UK influencers? Obviously, that's where you're from. You represent many UK influencers. What is going on with the UK influencers not publicly on social media defending guys that were robbed, that were American like temper? Because it really has been irking me. It's been irking me ever since I've seen it. When Gib got robbed, every single YouTuber, no matter what country they're from, especially the Americans, were saying that Gib got robbed. When it happened to Temper, all the social media stars, other than Gib and other than True Jordy, they stayed quiet, and it really is irking me.
Well, first of all, I live on a ranch in Tennessee, and I'm really American now. Even just yeah. So, listen, I think at the end of the day, it was really bad officiating, really bad judging. It was crazy to let some of those antics, it's just so unprofessional and it's so disrespectful. The two guys who fought each other and didn't they were doing a waltz, I
Sparring,
think.
yeah, they were sparring, and that's the Anthony Taylor came on here yesterday from his
That guy.
mouth. He said, "Oh, it was agreed upon. It was going to be a draw. We wasn't going to really fight each other, and then they gave him the win." It's Anthony
That's
Taylor
not
saying
true.
this.
That's not true because I talked to him the day before the fight and the day after, and he said different things each time. So
Okay,
Anthony Taylor would be saying a lot of stories. A
that's
yeah,
lot of
true.
stories.
That's true.
I think that guy's just trying to talk himself into another ring, but it's not it. I would never have anything to do with
He's
him
trying
or
to
the other guy.
right
They
now.
were they were shameful. that's like, you just don't do that. You don't rob fans of their money. They're watching that. I was watching it thinking, what the fuck? Why? And then the headbutting. Look, I don't think I've ever felt sorry for Vitali until that day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said this so many times. The things that Vitali has done are unforgivable, but this was his opportunity to still exist in this space doing something. And he was robbed that night. And, you have to absolutely feel sorry for Vitali in that situation. And another update on Vitali, he tweeted out just maybe it was 2 days ago that he's 100 days sober, no alcohol, no drugs. And for him, that's shocking, and that's good news.
Yeah, listen, I respect that. Anyone who's trying to better their lives, you've got to respect, and you've got to try and give them a chance at the end of the day. It's difficult to change 100% of who you've been over the last 10 years, but it's possible with hard work. And if he's on that path, then good luck to him. But either way, no matter who was, no matter who was in that ring getting headbutted, that's just, it's such a no-no. You don't do that, And I think that it's a poor reflection of that. I would never allow that to happen on our card. It's just, we're never going to allow anything like that.
Well, the thing is that really wasn't up to the judges, right? Doesn't the ref have to deduct points, and the ref just didn't do anything?
The ref didn't do anything. I mean, he had the best, he had the best view of the whole thing, and I don't know how he missed that.
I know, at three different times. And then it's like one after the other. It was the Anthony Taylor fight, which is BS. And then it was a DK Money headbutt, which is BS. And then I believe it was Vitaly versus Kristen Hemby. It was like one after another. And then you have the fan runs into the ring with Deji and Al Wasabi. It's like, I want to know, like, what did show star do right that whole night? They didn't do nothing right.
I can tell you what they did right is they created a goddamn circus. I mean, look,
Yeah.
it was a disaster, but at the end of the day, it was entertainment, right? Like that was a pretty good show for $10, even though it was a disaster, right?
Yeah. I think. Look, it had its entertainment value, but at the same time, it just made JJ and I realize even more like how badly this is needed in this space, where we're going to provide a platform that celebrities, influencers, people on the high, real people who are really interested in doing this properly, they're going to have one place to go, and that's going to be fighting on our cards.
Ma'am, I got to give you this advice because, we had iDubbbz' wife on the show last night or maybe the night before talking about their event. iDubbbz is putting on a big charity event. There's a bunch of YouTubers that we're going to see in the ring for the very first time. And, during Social Gloves and a lot of these events, I try to tell them how important the national anthem is. You have to have some celebrity come in and sing the national anthem because it's at the very beginning of the pay-per-view. As long as something amazing happens there, then it trends and you'll get more people watching the pay-per-view. No one has capitalized on getting that perfect person to sing the national anthem to knock it out of the park or just make it a show. Is that something that you guys will take a note of and make sure it gets done right?
Honestly, I hadn't thought about it until just now. So yeah, thank you for the idea. We'll definitely. I think that's a good idea. It makes the anticipation for the fight feel a little bit more urgent.
Well, if you guys need some commentators, I mean, we got our own Wade Concept in the building. What's up, Wade?
I think Austin might actually be right here.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Mams? How you doing, man?
So,
hey, what's up?
Man. Not much.
How are you,
Throwing
bro?
my name in the hat. You guys need people, I'm down. Anywhere, any place, except give me like a month or two because, blood clot. But other than that, we should be good.
No, you'll be good for the summer.
Yes, sir. So summer's when you guys are looking.
So
summer is going to be the first event, and then and then without getting ahead of myself, like I said, we're going to have a second one, and then we're probably going to be putting on a lot of events throughout the year for 2023.
So Mel Ramsey's in here again, and she's the one that reminded me last time she was in here about female fighters. We need to have a female fight.
I'm on it.
It has to happen. I don't care if it's my organization, your organization, iDubbbz organ. I don't care. But at the end of the day, we need more female representation in this sport. I mean, these girls go back and forth, sending shade to each other nonstop. I'd like to see two of them get in the ring. And when I'm talking about females, it's got to be somebody with clout. You know, I've seen some of these organizations pulling a TikToker that no one's ever heard of. That doesn't count, right?
No, I
We
know,
need.
I know. The problem is, I don't think it's conducive to a successful OnlyFans career to have a broken nose, but but I think that you're right. I think that there's definitely room for that, and we'd love to have some females who take boxing seriously. And look at what Ronda Rousey did, and
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
yeah, look at, it's when you get the right person, the right female with that, especially look at the movies that we've had, the heroines in all the biggest shows, Game of Thrones, Homeland, whatever it is. It's the females have some of the strongest roles, and I think that there's definitely a massive appeal for that. So I'm working on that. We're working on that, and we'll continue to we'll hopefully provide that on one of the first two cards.
We
What about
absolutely, I think, need to give props to Jake Paul for, his female. Her name is slipping my mind right now, but his female fighter that he.
Amanda Serrano.
Yeah, it shouldn't slip my mind because she's an absolute legend. But like,
She's a
what he's
beast.
done for her in the space has been absolutely amazing. Her pay has gone through the roof. I mean, he put a massive spotlight on her. I'd like to see more of that.
what about Deji's ex girlfriend? Doesn't she deserve a redemption fight?
Oh
She
my God,
deserves.
please put her in the ring. No,
she
I'm
deserves.
so
She
serious.
deserves a beating. Yeah.
No, it's not that she
Man,
deserves a beating. It's that that girl will promote her fight. That girl talks so much shit from
Yeah.
like a business mindset. That is the perfect girl. That is the female Bryce Hall. Get that girl in the ring with anyone. Dude,
man,
that she's gonna promote a fight. She is gonna sell tickets. I back that 100%.
I hear you. I just think, look, I haven't kept up with her, or I saw one thing. I saw what she did, and I saw her apologize and then take her apology away, and that was kind of enough for me to say I don't want anything to do with that. Like, sometimes you gotta just not think about the money and think about the principles you have as well.
yeah, Mams, I have a question for you, and I think it can inspire a lot of the future generation and up and coming YouTubers in this scene. So, Keem and I have a fighter with Happy Punch Promotion named Dean the Great. Very, very entertaining kid. A small YouTube following, but a cult like following. But most importantly, massive, massive, massively insane boxing abilities and skills. If he had aspirations to make it on a Mams Taylor KSI card, what route does he go to take that and make his, put his name out there
Well,
outside of having to do anything outlandish to get clout and gain attention to, be.
Fuzi, you're saying too much. Dude, Dean deserves a spot. He's the fucking man. All his content is boxing related content. This man went into an elevator and sparred with his homeboy, and then the elevator opens and people are just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, this
I'm
dude
saying it.
is the
I'm saying it
boxing
humbly and to
influencer.
not scare future opponents.
well, I mean, if there's a competitive fight for him and the people want to see it, he has friends in high places, so I'm sure we could get something done at some point.
Sounds
We
good.
want
Sounds good.
Jarvis. We want Jarvis, Mams. We want Jarvis. We want Dean versus Jarvis.
But Jarvis might be fighting on Showstar too. That's what I want to bring up. Like,
If
it's
any
rumored,
American goes to Showstar 2, they're insane. They're clinically insane.
Yeah.
but that's what I was going to bring up for Mams. Is like they're working on it. Showstar, they was going to jump in tourist space, but I guess they didn't. They're working on it in June. So do you think that might clash with your event at all?
I'm not, honestly, I'm really not worried about it. We've got it. So we've got celebrities, without saying too much, in different spaces that are gonna, it'll blow people's minds. So there's so many more interesting fights to put on, and you can put music against a musician against an athlete, a YouTuber, a social media star against a musician, whatever. So it's not limited to just social media stars, and we've got some really cool names, some really surprising names that are very interested in this space, and already training, and I think that's where we're going to differ a little bit as well and elevate the game.
It's surprising how many people are in boxing. So it was my 40th birthday. We celebrated in Vegas. I'm at my little party or whatever. We rented a venue, and this guy goes up on stage and starts performing. It was the only Mickey Avalon. I don't know. Yeah, y'all might be too young for
And I
Mickey
know Mickey
Avalon.
Avalon. I've seen him with Nasty, was it?
Yeah. My dick and all that other shit.
Yeah. It was fun.
Dude, he was a legend back in the day. Anyhow, he performed at my party. And so me, him, and Corey from Pawn Stars, we were chopping it up and stuff. And I'm like, Mickey, you're in great shape, for how old you are. I go, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I box. I'm like, what? I'm like, I run boxing news and stuff. Do you want to box another musician? He goes, I'm down for it. Yeah. This is how I'm in shape. I love boxing.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I think there's a lot of interesting fights to put on in that space,
I have a question, man. If it was up to you, would you rather see KSI versus Austin or KSI versus Wassabi? Which one would you rather see?
I would watch both.
Which one makes more money? Let me put it that way.
No, I don't think I don't think we should ask that. I think we should just let it play out how it happens with no influence. Because I personally, I want to see both fights. I want to see both fights happen, and I'm sure with
I do
KSI,
too.
I'm sure with KSI's name attached to either fight, where they're gonna make good money, especially with the backers they have in the KSI wanting to do the event for free.
Well, I'm going to say my opinion. I think Austin McBroom makes more money. I really do. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's that much more money. I think it's relatively similar.
I'll tell you what.
Most people buying the pay-per-view are buying it for JJ. They're buying it for KSI.
Yes. It's like when you bought a Mike Tyson pay-per-view, Keem, you'll know because you're similar to my age, but why did you watch Mike Tyson's pay-per-views?
Because of Mike Tyson, not the guy he was fighting.
You never even knew the guy's name that he was fighting until Buster Douglas pulled it out of his hat,
Correct.
So it's a similar thing, but I think, look, everybody wants to see. People say I'm tired of it. I don't give a shit if Jake Paul and KSI fight, but deep down, everybody wants to see that fight at some point.
Every single person that knows them, that know they exist, wants to see that fight.
Yeah, and I believe it will happen.
I mean, Jake right now is a free agent because the Showtime CEO, he said, yeah, Jake don't have a contract. He's currently a free agent.
Great point, Fight Lounge. We might lose Jake Paul. Jake Paul's talking MMA, and Logan Paul just asked Dana White on his podcast if he can go do MMA. I'm telling you, the Pauls are trying to get out of the boxing game, and they're trying to get in the octagon.
Well, that'll be interesting to watch too, for sure. Look, I mean, I think Logan has such a him and JJ are honestly they have so much in common. It's crazy. They have very similar career paths as well. With obviously a few different milestones, but they're very similar. And Logan is a very good, self-conscious, self-aware guy who's on a path of growth, and he's just I don't know how he's related to Jake.
Speaking of Logan and KSI, I'm out of Purple Prime and Blue Prime. So what can I do, Mams, to refill my fridge?
DM me your address. I got you.
Dude, I've never even had Prime yet. No one's
because you don't talk about it enough on your show, Keem. Come on, give us some love.
We've talked about it a ton. Get out of here.
Keem, I'm not just saying this because Mams is in here and my girlfriend is next to me and she can vouch for me. The Blue Prime is literally liquid crack with no sugar in it.
It's incredible.
How would you know what's in it, though? Everything's spelled wrong on the label.
I'm gonna bring up a name that hasn't been, in my opinion, brought up enough. Gib, he's one of the top YouTube boxers, man. I want to see him back around.
You guys are sort of, that's what I was gonna say. Is you guys are kind of assuming that Mushroom gets past Gib. I'd give it 60-40 in Gib's favor.
Well, what weight class would that be?
I'm sure they'd find a catch weight, something that's they're not super far apart anyway.
I absolutely hate voting against Gib because I love him. right? Like he is literally the people's champ. Everybody loves Gib, but Austin McBroom is one of the most skilled influencer boxers we've ever seen. I'm telling you, I think Austin McBroom is going to take Gib out.
You know, and that's something I was having a private DM with. I say private as I'm about to say what the DMs are, but I was telling Gib my honest opinion, and I said, "Look, after you defeated Holder, I will never bet against you in my life, but I want to adamantly and honestly say I think Austin is one of the best in the game, but I'm not picking a winner." So I agree with Keem's senses on that one.
That's fair. I mean, I think Gib is obviously he had a lapse and just wasn't able to really perform at the Jake Paul fight for whatever reason. It just didn't happen. But I feel like he's up there and his cardio is insane. He's got like Nick Diaz cardio, so he's a problem for anybody. I
Yeah, I
think you
mean
guys are
that's
underestimating Big Gibber. He can fight.
Face Sensei is in the building. Face Sensei, be a
I
speaker,
mean,
man.
Gib can just keep throwing and 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 throwing. And I'm doing that on purpose to be annoying because that's how annoying Gib is. He just never stops swinging. It's insane.
Yeah, I think if you look 50-50, 60-40 in Gibbs' favor for me. If I were a betting man, Keem, we can have a side bet on that. If Austin comes down to earth and doesn't ask for like $1 billion and a Hall of Fame induction, then we'll make that fight happen.
Yeah, I'm totally down for that side bet because I do think Austin still comes out on top. I think, look, dude, people don't like Austin. Austin's done a lot of shady things, especially with people not getting paid in social goes. But then after that, his kind of career and getting exposed and houses in foreclosure. And it's been a horrible, horrible ride. And we see this all the time versus people we like versus people we hate. The people we like get favored in these matches. But if you're just looking at the skill, I'm telling you, Austin has a unbelievable skill and might be one of the best influencer boxers we ever seen. And I think he can go toe to toe with Jake Paul.
Right now, you think that?
I absolutely do. I really believe that. Yes.
What's that based on? Just the one fight he had?
Everything, literally everything. The stuff from his coaches, the training stuff. When I talked to him privately during the Social Gloves event, Fuzi went to check out his training and seen it firsthand versus Bryce's training firsthand. Just everything.
Yeah, I
And
mean, look,
I think a big thing that Keem's trying to say also, him being a D1 athlete and it being in basketball, so his footwork is already on par with great footwork. And I'll never forget the first time because I didn't know what he was gonna bring to the table. The first time I saw him train, I immediately leave and call Keemstar and go, Keem, he's gonna be a problem in this space. He's disgustingly good. Like I
I
just
don't
think
think he got touched. I don't think Bryce touched him once.
okay, but it's Bryce Hall, guys. He didn't fight. He didn't fight. Holyfield.
This is a criticism that King Kenny picked. King Kenny said he gonna pick Austin Broom because power, because Jake has power and Austin has power. Do you think Gib will be able to take Austin Broom's power?
I mean, it's yet to be seen. I believe he could. I think his fitness is going to be a big factor in that fight if it happens. We just, you know, I just like I say. But one thing though, even though again, I talk shit and I'm doing what I do, like sometimes clown a little bit or whatever. But at the end of the day, one thing I can guarantee is that all of the fighters will be treated fairly. The judging, the refereeing, everything. We will do everything in our power to ensure that there's no fuck shit. And there's no favorites, there's no anything. Everyone will be treated very fairly, and they will definitely get paid properly on time, um, and all that stuff. So even though, I can see from one of the things that he said in his messages, Mushroom, he said like they wanted me to come to England. Yes, that's the plan on the first card. I think it will be in England, and the second card we do in the USA, and we'll keep going back and forth and fluctuating. But it's not I don't like. I think this idea of USA versus UK thing has been done to death. So
Yeah.
you're
Well,
fighting.
we don't
for,
want it anymore, dude. I would not. If there's ever a card like that again, I would tell every American fighter, don't go. Just
Yeah,
do not go.
yeah. It's not. We're at the end of the day, we're all in NATO anyway, right? So
I mean, and also,
Wait. Before we move on, can we have Faye Sensei here? I want his opinion on Austin McBroom because he's an actual fighter. He's an expert. I need his opinion on Austin McBroom.
He looks McBroom, based off just his ability, he looks sharp. I mean, switching stances, he hit hard, especially when you look at like most guys in this scene, in this community, for a first fight. His fight is right up there. His performance is right up there in terms of first fight performance. He's someone he picks it up quick. I don't know how long he's been boxing, but I'd like to see, clearly his first fight against Bryce, he had the upper hand, but I'm looking forward to see him with a challenge,
And at the end of the day, one more thing I gotta say on this, right? Whatever cards are happening in 2022, if you don't have Salt Poppy on the card, you have a giant L. You have a giant L. Salt Poppy needs to be on every single fucking card.
he stole the show, and also what's his name, King Kenny and FaZe. That was a really good fight. I mean, the outcome, at least justice was served in the end. I think we all knew who won.
I wish the UK would have said that on social media, though.
I know, but it's not that. Look, I don't think Showstar is a fair representation of the UK. Being a dual citizen, I will say that I don't think they're a fair representation of UK. We don't, like I said, we guarantee none of those antics with us. It'll be fair. You win the fight, you win the fight. You lose a fight, lose a fight. You headbutt someone, you're in trouble.
Speaking of Salt Poppy, he was here on Twitter Space. Faye Sensei, he said he would like to fight you eventually. He said we'll have one more fight and then fight you. How about that?
I love it. I mean, that was he was originally on the list. I was hoping to get on the last card. It just didn't happen. I'm not sure if they got my name too. Salt Poppy.
You say no. You say no to that fight because if you beat Salt Poppy, I'm unfollowing you on Twitter, bro. I want that guy around.
Nah, dude. I met him. He's sharp. I talked to him. He had some. He said he boxed in the Philippines, but he said he was just fighting on the street. I was like, nah, dude. You had some boxing background. You definitely did a little bit more than just that. Your defense is too good.
He says he's coming down to weight, so he be down to your weight class, like 180 and upper 170s. So
yeah, what did he fight? What did he weigh in at?
I think he was like 190.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm around. I'm not trying to make weight. I don't like cutting weight anyways.
Okay.
Whatever.
Dude,
I think Sensei a big boy. Come on.
I think most of us went into this Showstar event not knowing who Salt Poppy was at all.
He stole the show.
And we're seeing him in the press conference, and we're seeing him in these face-to-face and these other little promo things, and we're like, who is this guy? Like, what? Like, they're just grabbing anyone and throwing him up there. And then when his match happened, it was like, damn, a star was made.
Look, I think with boxing, you don't play with boxing, and it's being allowed to happen a little too frequently. Again, I'm sure the guys who put Showstar on are nice people. I don't know them personally. One of them, I think, reached out to me the other day on DMs. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them as people, but professionally, this is a sport you can get hurt in. This is a sport you've got to take seriously, and you can't afford to have a circus, because all it takes is one crazy thing to happen, really crazy thing to happen, and it's a bad luck for all of us. And everything stops. There's no more of this stuff. It's
I wouldn't call them nice people. I had the breaking story that Deji was fighting Alex Wassabi, and I was about to go to air with it, and they said, we swear to God on everything, that's not going to happen. So I killed the story. Then at last minute, they tried to get me to commentate the event. And so they're talking to my manager, and they're like, okay, what's the price or whatever? Because I was thinking about it. It was interrupting my 40th birthday, but I might do it. They go, oh, we'll just take care of him. My manager's like, what does that mean? Well, we got his hotel. Just the hotel? It's like a $3,000 flight just to get to the UK. Yeah,
Jeez.
we'll take
That's
care
so
of them. Like,
disrespectful.
so I got serious problems with Showstar on multiple different levels. They're not nice people.
And
They're
they lied to
rude.
Keem. Like, they told him in confidence that it wasn't Alex and that they were gonna give him the exclusive info just to come out and then announce Alex.
Yeah, they killed my story. They straight up lied to me, right?
Yeah, it was shady all around.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have respect for the community. You have to have respect for influencers, and if you don't, then we're a much bigger megaphone than you could ever be.
100%.
You know, Mams, this is something the way can attest to. One thing that Showstar did good was the hype. They had their Road to Showstar, which was hosted by Wade, and I think that was really good, like one-on-one interviews. So, is there anything like that way you can bring on? One thing Showstar did, they listen to the fans. So, is that something? Is that something you can take from them? Make it better.
We've got some really big plans to have continuous content for the fans. So, without saying too much, sorry, my door. Without saying too much, it's we're gonna have a lot of content. Once this thing gets going, it's not gonna stop.
One thing I like for Social Gloves was the pull-up event, and Fuzi, you was there. I think the pull-up event was so dope. Have like what was it, 4 influencers, 8 influencers, and whoever win got on the undercard. I think that'd be a dope idea.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem that you had with it is kind of what Mams was just speaking about, where someone could get hurt. I was shocked that they didn't have ambulances. They didn't have any medical people there. They literally just threw random influencers in a ring in a gym and said, "Whoever wins wins."
Keem, they didn't have water. They didn't know the rules prior. They didn't have a referee. It was a shit show. It might have looked entertaining like when we posted the vlogs, but that was a cluster shit show.
Let me speak for Mams here. They needed prime. They needed some prime.
Everybody needs some prime. It makes everything better.
Big fact.
Well, there's your plug now, Mams. Now send me a cake.
DM me your addresses. I got you guys.
What else is there to talk about in this space? Like, what is the thing that we're all ignoring? What is the thing that we're not focusing enough on? Like,
well, the one thing I can say is like this year, because last year we had like 9 influencer events, and so this year, like it might be more. We got Social Knockout might be coming. We got Showstar 2 might be coming. Adios event might be coming. Maybe, and this maybe if Austin and KSI can come to a deal, he might bring back Social Gloves from the dead. So do you think like having all these events will be clashing each other, or do you think it's a good thing, more opportunities?
How many
people?
When you guys think of MMA, who do you think of?
The UFC, but I don't think that could ever happen in this space. There's too much war and conflict. Everyone has too much of a voice and too much of a megaphone.
It's okay. Look, I'm not saying in terms of having some kind of a monopoly and forcing people to do that, but it's going to be the one-stop shop where people, the most high end of the high end, the most committed and serious, the most prestigious event is going to be ours. Mark my words on that. That's what it's going to be, and I think everyone wants to be on a UFC card over any other type of card.
Mams, I totally respect that, but 100%. But I'm just saying, in this landscape, impossible. There's always going to be these other events. They're always going to get views because there's just the influencers are the boxers, right? So they have their own megaphones. So everyone's going to be able to promote whatever event they're on. Like, I wish we did have some type of UFC thing, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
Keem, that's our second side bet together, okay?
There's just too much money and too much influence. There's always going to be competitors in this space.
If anything, it'd be like boxing. There's PBC, there's Top Rank, there's Matchroom Boxing, there's Golden Boy. There's even lower, those are the main four. There's so many boxing promotions.
I think there'll be other cards, other events, and some of them will be good, some of them will be bad. But I think people can make a name for themselves to get onto our events, and I think there'll be pathways to do that.
The only way you could do that is you'd have to get every major person with influence, right, involved in this YouTube boxing stuff.
Just
give
wait.
them equity. That's the only way to lock down an actual like UFC in this space.
Just wait and see what we have in store for you guys. There's going to be so many surprises.
Yeah, it's going to be up to the influencers. Wherever the influencers go, the top guys, that's where everyone's going to go. Like, if you're asking me, like, if I want to be on an undercard, I don't really care what promotion it is. It's going to be in the undercard, whoever's the biggest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm going to trust. So it's going to be like, oh, if KSI is fighting or someone that I know is fighting, that's where I'm going to go. And that's kind of like how boxing is. So it's going to be pretty much up to the top influencers, whatever the card, you know what I mean? Like the undercard guys,
of course.
We don't decide to go to Showstar. Deji, like I was waiting to see, you know, Deji, Alex, Temper, obviously I cornered him. Wherever he's going, wherever these guys are going, that's where I'm going to go. So that's kind of how it's going to go.
But you see Showstar just grab Vitali or whatever, and that made me excited. And that would make so many other people excited, like just to see, like, you know, washed up people that don't even have influence anymore to get in the ring. Like people.
But guys, you're ignoring something that I've given a really obvious Easter egg. It's not going to be just influencers.
Yeah.
And
right.
I'm talking some names that are pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, I've seen that whole celebrity boxing thing, and I don't think it plays as well as influencers. It doesn't. I don't think so. I mean, me and Fuzi, we did the Blueface thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was classic. You know, another event that I want to see is Face Clan versus the World. I've been saying that since last summer.
Facts, let's do it.
For Face Clan, like imagine if Temper, Face Sensei, hopefully Jarvis is on good terms. No, he left.
We got to resign. We got to resign Jarvis for a day. Give him like a 5-day contract.
Yeah, like boom. That's another event right there. Like, I think it'd be more and more growing. Now it could be more one and done events, but right. Yeah, I think we'll see more events going. Now it could also be co-promotion. Absolutely.
Are you talking FaZe versus Beta Squad?
Okay.
I like FaZe versus Beta Squad. I really think that you could make an entire event out of that. I really do.
Anything's possible. Anything. But I'm just saying because, as you know, King, and as you know, Sensei, FaZe Clan has a cult-like following. They could do a venue in Vegas and sell out just without any fights announced. They have that much of a cult following.
That is very true.
Versus Beta Squad. I mean, they're I'm telling you, they have like 6 members, right? There's 6 FaZe guys that'll get in the ring, 100%.
So, Mams, you're working on the summer event. So, are you currently talking to people right now? Or are you sending emails, sending fight offers right now?
Yeah, we've some things are in a more advanced stage, and some things are just conversations. So we'll have full updates for you guys as and when.
Gotcha. Cause I know my DM is gonna be flooded. Like, hey, can you get me on that event? Can you get me? So I was once like, is there a chance for people to get on the undercard or even prelims?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, there's still space for that, and you'll see the model that we're gonna have is gonna be a little bit different to what everybody's been used to, and it's we're gonna make sure everyone's well taken care of. So.
Well, Mams, I mean, you have the secret sauce, right? Because you're probably the only one in the world that can pull off a pay-per-view and involving, KSI and one of the Pauls, being Logan Paul, since he's, the business partner in Prime. Logan Paul obviously has to come up in conversation to be on that card, right?
It's a plus.
We got him! Breaking news!
I didn't say anything. No. Anything's possible. Obviously, Logan's a great guy. He's an amazing athlete. He has a hell of a draw. People would love to see him fight. He's, and I think he's made it clear he's got intentions to fight in one capacity or another. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think I gotta go now. But I really.
That would be insane if Logan is on the KSI card. That would be insane.
God damn it! I am so good at what I do. Thank you, ma'am, so much for coming on. Like, we definitely need to have you on more in the future. The insight and your perspective from the KSI camp and this boxing world is so valuable, and we're very grateful you came on.
Thank you guys. And just to say, like, at the end of the day, the one thing, like you guys touched on, if KSI's got something to do with an event where he really, the integrity part is really there. So it's all about fairness and integrity and making sure everyone's taken care of and putting on a great show for the fans. So anyway, aside from that, thank you guys for having
Thank
me.
you
And
so much,
hey,
Mams. We really
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
give me those
Thank you, man.
DMs for your primes. We'll speak
Will
soon.
do.
Later,
Will
guys.
do.
Bye.
All right, peace out,
All
man.
right, guys. I got to step out of here too. I want to shout out Keemstar for making this happen today. This was an amazing. I want to thank Face Sensei Wade for coming on, Fight Lounge for being an amazing host, and I want to thank the 1,000 listeners that all came in at one time. I'm sure we had a lot more concurrently through the whole stream, but I'll let you guys continue. Just wanted to say, awesome room with y'all.
Hey, Fight Lounge, I'm going to stay
Peace,
a little
Fuji.
bit longer. Should we take some questions from the audience? Because
Okay.
I think now, after having that, there's not much to add. We kind of exhausted almost everything to talk about